What up? What up? What up? Welcome to a Fat Man Friday. How's everybody doing on this wonderful ass Friday? Welcome to a Fat Man. Do that. Boop 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 boop. Reload that. Hopefully we can get the clip that to work. I'm a jolly good fellow. Some more holiday. Wonderful. We're live. I'll stop by and say hi. It's probably going to be Apex all night. I'll also do dogs of Instagram, the dirty P word of Instagram. Rescue dog. Sure that? Alright. Yes, I banged my hand. Yo, what up? What up? What up? I banged my hand on the top of my mic arm. So that felt good. Got a nice little scrape, some broken skin. Bum bum Where's Mr. Anonymous at? Am I not in the party yet? What's happening? What's happening? Where is everybody? Why nobody talking to me? Let me do a quick Winter Express. Gotta get some XP joints up. Plays crypto 3 knockdowns his Wraith. Yeah, let's do that. Here we go. Talking to no one.
Oh, what's up, Mr. Joe?
What's happening?
Are you guys in a game
No.
together? No.
Yeah, nobody was here, so I jumped into Winter Express.
Yeah, I went to smoke a cigarette. Zero went to something like that. They said he'd be back by the time I got back.
He's obviously lying.
I came back a little early because, like, oh yeah, but I smoked like 3/4 of a cigarette, and then like I start getting like the spin. So I, like, put it out
Nice.
inside.
Nice.
So,
Thank you, teammate.
we've been wrecking shit.
So when we lose, it's all my fault.
We've been like, yeah, pretty much all your fault,
Nice.
teammate. Yeah, me and Zero been like wrecking shit on the train. We've been like winning mad games.
Well, we just capped the train the first round, so yay for us.
Nice. Yeah, so remember yesterday, when we were playing the train, and I was like, yeah, I was getting like 60,000 XP per game. But when we were playing, I was like, not 60,000, not even close, like less than 10,000. And I was thinking, like, did I accidentally like add a zero because like I drank too much or something? But then tonight, like I'm having like 40-something thousand XP games, but then at the same time, Zero will have very similar stats to me, but he'll only get like 20-something thousand XP. So I don't even know how they calculate it. I have no idea.
Are you capping
only
the
thing I
train,
guess,
maybe?
maybe the champion. yeah, that's what we're thinking. Maybe capping the train instead of winning by kills is getting extra points, and then maybe, I guess, the champion of the game gets twice as much as everybody else. That's the only thing I can really figure as to why I'm getting twice as many points as you. Because, like, yesterday, I'm starting to think, like, I told you that stuff. Then we're playing games, and, like, my XP is nowhere near that. I'm like, did I just, like, get that super wrong? So I didn't say anything, but you didn't say anything either, so I didn't know.
Yeah, no, I noticed.
But
I thought we talked about it, because I got like
it seems
7,000
like it's a thing.
or something.
Yeah, I remember I was getting like 6,000, like 9,000. I was like, did I just like make that whole thing up or what? Like, what's going on?
So have you gotten like 60,000 since?
Nah, I got like 45,000, but I didn't have super impressive games like I did yesterday.
Here we go, round 2. We got the train. My team jumped off the train. One guy's running through Capital City. Like, what are you doing?
What are you doing, bruh?
Listen up. Stop on the train for a moment. Picking out of my trunk. I'm good to go.
Just gave me that assist.
Well, like, yeah, every game that we paid attention to, I was getting like almost 2 times as many points as him, even though I wasn't having twice as much kills and damage. So I don't know. I mean, I guess probably the whatchamacallit, the champion, I guess, of the game, but for 2 times as much, I don't know. I couldn't figure out why.
Oh, champion! And I just got the last kill. Just slaughtered that motherfucker. Oh,
You
yep.
won?
I think it was only the second round, so I guess.
Wait, how did you
I
win
don't know.
the second round? Everybody else quit because you were just too scared?
I don't know.
Or when you guys
Nah, go fuck yourself.
I'm in some sort of match or something.
all right, give me just a minute, guys. I'll be back in just a couple minutes.
Alright, well, you have
Okay.
1 minute.
Right.
That's it. After that, you're cut from the team.
Yeah, your contract's coming under review.
Got purple vest, purple hat, flat line with a blue clip. Trying to do some damage real quick. Follow me into certain death, teammates. Come on. Get a little reckless.
I'm playing with somebody that's name is Zajak. I don't know. Probably not Brittany, but maybe your
Yeah.
brother? I don't know.
I saw this. It was like something about somebody going to jail and somebody getting arrested for punching some lady who like crashed or somehow killed kids, maybe by a car. I forget. But it looked exactly like.
Yeah, I
Katy
saw
Perry,
that.
Exactly like Katy Perry. It's like.
Yeah.
You saw that? Yeah. Nobody liked it, so I didn't know if anybody saw it. I'm like, how could nobody like this? It's like pure fucking.
Yeah, she like assaulted somebody
gold. It looks exactly
in the
like
courtroom
it.
or something. The person that like killed her 3 kids or some shit.
But even funnier than that is that it looks like Katie Kelly.
It is Katie Kelly.
Uh-oh.
Oh shit, somebody's right here on me.
No, don't hurt my friends.
No! Where are you, team?
Oh, no. I'm dead. What? Yeah, so something is not right. My damage and my death recap doesn't add up to my summary.
Yay, they won and brought me back.
No. You do another train?
Yeah.
I'll just start another match and then Zero comes back and just join him. So what are your plans for New Year's?
Don't know. Don't have any. I gotta work New Year's Eve and New Year's.
I have to work New Year's Day. Wait, so you have to work early New Year's Day?
Yeah, I think 8 o'clock.
Sucks. Would you and Kim want to do something and go somewhere for it? Something
Like
fun?
where?
I don't know. I didn't think about it.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'd have to talk to her, but maybe depends on where it is. Oh, we killed everybody. I'm like, why are we not capping the train? So there we go. Round 2 is done. I don't have any kills this game.
I don't know. Why isn't a train captain happening?
What's happening, train captain, trapman? I came, I trapped, I saw. Oh, being shot from the front, in front of the train, Oh geez, fast guy.
Oh man, new kill leader. Look out. Trust in the old father. Train stopping.
No, stop shooting me, stop shooting me.
Taking a moment. Hostile right here. Faster, faster, faster.
You are not the only squad on the train.
Oh, I gotta heal up. I was able to get to the train and stop them from capping it and heal up. Wasting my special, but I got one knockdown with my special.
Nice. Who are you playing? Walker or
Nah,
Wrangler?
Birdman.
Ah, even better. I like this special. Tear shit up.
I just threw a frag grenade just as he threw his fucking Gibraltar shield down.
You are not the only squad on the train.
Yeah, we got it by killing everybody. Suck on them titties.
Kill them all. Ooh, yeah. Is that
That's
game,
game.
or just that round?
That's Gizame.
Well, send me an invite.
All right.
I'm about to load in some other shit.
Alright, let's get back to the lube. Oh, Zajac had 7 kills.
Good job.
Yay! Way to go, Zajac! Way to be a 7 killer. Invite sent though.
Real quick, I just want to see if I can land. We start at the edge of the map. I want to see if I can land on the mountains. I'm like, no, die once you get to a certain point. Okay. Alright, here I is. Just don't get picked up a set of. So when you play the train, you like to use the flatline characters or what?
Doesn't matter. Flatline's a good game, or a good gun. So,
Who has the 99 now? Gibraltar? Or anybody
I don't know.
else?
I think the loadouts are the same. They just switch between characters. So whoever has the 99 has the scout
Yeah,
also.
well, I know the one day there was only 2 people with the 90 or the flatline though.
Life and death is where I feel most alive.
I accept the challenge. I make this look good. I'm literally this hair.
Yeah, Crypto has it also. But,
Step aside. Champion coming through. Champion coming through.
oh shit. Oh shit. I'm gonna go straight for the train. I guess depending on what Black Wolfo wants to do.
King Black Wolf. Ooh.
We can just go straight for the train. You wanna go straight for the
Sure,
train?
yeah, whatever.
I'll do that.
Train straight for sounds.
Why can't I ping? Go here. Can you see my ping?
No. There we go.
Now it just works. Alright, some people landed towards
Yeah,
the
they
back of the
tried to
train.
land on the tracks. It looks like they landed. Oh, somebody's on the tracks.
Ah, getting sniped. Alright, I'm gonna go to the front of the train. Oh god, there's somebody in the front of the train.
Grenade.
And on top. Son of
Grenades.
a
Oh,
bitch.
I got an elimination. I don't know how.
Literally got shot from every fucking angle.
What? Oh my god. How did I miss those fucking shots?
There's several Ozzy Kings. Yeah, I got killed by 3 people. Somebody was on top, inside, and on the side of the front car. Yeah, we got in stuck in the middle of both squads.
Oh, sorry guys, I'm
You
back.
can better be.
It's all
You
your
better
fault.
be sorry.
Baby, sorry. You want to send us an invite and play?
I'm in your lobby.
Alrighty.
Alright, blah, blah, blah.
People who fight each other
You say you're going to the lobby?
Yeah. Means you're already there.
Poor little fucko just lost both his friends. Match quality server. Did you enjoy this match you just played? Yes, I super enjoyed it.
It was great. I super loved it. I swear, it only asks you when it's.
Well, it didn't really suck.
When it's
Yeah.
like when you kill 1,000,000 people and then win, it never asks you. Did you like it? It only asks you if you liked it when like you fucked up real quick. How'd you like that ass raping? Was that sweet?
Welcome to the Winter Express. Choo 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 your boat gently down. Wait, that's not it.
Choo 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 your boat gently down the stream. Merry-go, merry-go-rounds. Life is but a beam.
Oh no.
That's that new hot.
It's that new hotness.
Something.
Life is but a
something.
fiend.
Dude, have you guys ever got like a gross smell coming from the
Underside of your nuts?
drain
Look,
pop
Zero,
on your
big
washer?
champion.
No, I've never
From your
smelled the drain
washer,
pipe,
underside?
but
From the drain pipe. Well, I mean, it's like a gas.
maybe the
or
drain
something.
itself is getting clogged up. I mean, the washer
may
doesn't
be.
have like gas.
No,
in
not
it.
the
Unless you mean
washer.
sewer gas.
Yeah,
It could be, yeah.
like-
Any of your
No.
house drains, especially in the basement, they run straight to the sewer. So you have to make sure that there's like water in the trap, or else.
Yeah, this particular one
fucked
runs
up.
to an old septic tank, but yeah, it's the same concept. Yeah, it hasn't done it in
I'm
a
on the
long time,
ground.
and I
I
smelled
don't
it in
see
there. I was like,
anybody
gross.
yet. Who's getting
I'm
shot?
on the train.
From the roof, but I'm dropping down.
Alright, I'm on the train too.
somebody on the
back
front.
off.
They're not.
Someone else on the train.
Okay. Good
Grenade,
job,
oh.
Joe. I'm with you.
Wasted my grenade.
Oh
That was
shit!
my-
I ran away from him and got killed for it.
Somebody's
I
on
killed
the roof
another,
of
but there's another
the, on the roof of the car.
right
you're
at
on.
the front.
Oh shit.
coming in the front.
Wait, how is there a fucking caustic fucking gas shit over here?
He followed you out.
He's on the back car.
We're dead.
Not no mo.
At least one other squad has boarded the train.
Noise.
Come on, heal, bitch, heal, bitch. Think they're
Yeah,
all
you gotta
fighting
capture the
front?
center.
Come on,
Somebody's
give me
landing.
enough time to pop a couple more helps.
Yes. Gas trap right in there.
You are not the only squad on the train.
Sneaky, sneaky.
Oh, it was fire.
Yes.
Oh, you like how I can kill people without even looking. You like that shit?
Yeah. What just happened?
I don't know what's going
it
on.
went
Is there
past
still people
overtime.
left?
It went past. No, it went past overtime. I think. Maybe there's people left. You better heal.
I'm gonna fly in so I get 2 grenades and heal.
Okay.
Alright, you wanna just fly right to the train? What do you wanna do?
Sure. You streaming,
Yes,
Joe?
sir.
Spawning with full
You on all the internet channels?
Yep, except you
He's on
porn.
every channel, everywhere. He's on YouPorn too. I've seen it already. Stop lying. See us fool?
I hear
Somebody's
fire.
still on the train. I'll check the back.
They're up on our east side.
On our left. Yeah.
Oh yeah, coming down the stairs. Hit him for like 20.
By the front.
Somebody's sniping from somewhere up high.
Nice, he's dead. Good shooting.
Oh, from the side. Got him. Oh, I'm burning. I'm dead.
Oh my god, it's a snipe from every direction. I was chasing somebody who was running you guys and got shot from the back from the sniper and the back left from somebody following me. That was shitty. Oh, we didn't win the first round? I thought we
No,
did,
no one paid.
It was in overtime and it went past overtime.
Ah, that's right. We missed overtime.
Yeah.
Train has left the station.
Ribbit.
Yeah. Boop 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 ba doop boop boop ba doop boop. I need some music. Time for some.
Where that train at?
It's coming around the bend. Here it comes. It's be coming around the bend. It be coming around the bend. It be coming around the bend. Here it. They're on the train.
All right.
Yep,
Truck
one
car
down.
real bad.
Alright, I killed 3 people so far.
2 down.
Oh, hell
4.
yeah. Good job.
I'm healing up.
You bitch. The fuck off our train.
Hell
out.
yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Scadios. Somebody wants to be tough.
Alright, I'm healing
guy.
up and gotta reload and I'll be there.
It's off, you bitch.
Noise.
Oh, there's somebody alive still? What?
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
I thought that was you. I'm all dancing around the Mirage thinking that it was one of you guys for some reason. Looking for the other guy. I'm like,
Why are
where
we
is
not
he?
capping
I
the
don't see
train?
Anybody else? It's
Oh.
Mirage.
We did. We just capped it.
Okay.
We already won. And then actually, I think, I don't know.
Well, no, as soon as Joe and I, as soon as we killed him, we capped him.
Okay.
Okay.
Yo, what up,
Because he
Tim
contested
Wacker?
in the
What's
last
happening, man? Long time no see from you.
Yo, what's going on?
So who said it? Someone said they put their drone like in a sneaky place. Where was that? Who said they played with a guy?
Right where it is now. You did, yeah. It was right around
Okay.
there somewhere. He put it there, and for some reason nobody ever shot it, but it just spotted everybody the whole game.
The train is stopping at this station.
Anybody on the left of the train or no? Yeah, I'm getting sniped.
Yeah, there's 2 people on the left of the train. Well, I don't know what you're calling the left, actually.
Yeah, the west side.
Damn, I just did like 90 damage to some bitch on the hill with a sniper.
Oh, front car, front car.
I got EMP.
Nice. One approaching the middle.
Oh, somebody in the front
I
again.
don't know where she went.
Fuck, I'm down.
Where
Mirage at the front.
the fuck are they? Oh, he's almost dead, Grim. He's almost dead. He's hurt real bad.
Grenade.
Oh,
Oh, no.
I hit him. Well, we still
There's
won.
one behind you, yeah.
Fuck
Yeah.
this. Go right to the train. Go right to the train. Fuck them bitches. There's only like one left.
Okay.
Oh shit, I fell off. Where is he?
I think he's
Look
on
in
the top of
front.
the back
You looked
car.
in the
Yeah,
front?
we're on the front.
Alright.
No, he's not. I don't see where he's at.
Yeah, he probably jumped off to re-bitchify himself or something.
Re-bitchified.
Bitches re-bitchified.
Somebody just threw Bernie's in the back.
Yeah, we're getting shot from the top.
Oh, and from the
Somebody
fucking.
in the front.
Oh god, I got killed. Middle car, back car, back car. One guy, speedy guy.
There's a Mirage up
On
in
the
front
side of the
too.
back car.
Sniping.
Oh yeah, another one coming, Joe.
No.
Did we win?
Same place.
I fucked these two dudes up in the back. I didn't kill you on them, but they're pretty much right there.
Alright, I gotta be a sneaky snake.
Good job.
One's probably on the roof. You just want to climb right up.
There's somebody in the
Right.
car the front car that I was at. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, now it's the car. Oh yeah, fuck that thing up. Yeah, get her. Oh my god.
That was bullshit. Did you see that?
There were two
I hit her with like 6 shots and it's like 7,
Like
4.
Four double taps to the Eva. Oh my god, it didn't kill him.
I don't know
shit.
what the hell they were shooting you with because that was quick.
Oh man.
That was some
That
shit.
was like 100. They did like 140 to you, like.
Yeah. Definitely was more of a than.
Look at your death recap and see what the hell
Yeah,
that
what did you
was.
say?
It was a 301
shows-
and then I got shot from the guy on top at a flat line.
Oh yeah, okay.
So you want to go
It should
straight
just-
on the train, or you want to let the other two teams engage? What do you want to do?
Whatever. Straight to the train seems to be working. I don't care.
Yeah, we're 2 to 1 to 0.
Yeah, we don't got shit to lose. Nobody can fuck with us.
It's the Death Squad.
The Death Squad's coming for the train.
Oh, dude's
Better hide those
flying,
kids.
flying in right
Yeah, I
in front
saw
of us.
them.
Flying in.
Well, I'm just gonna jump right
Oh,
on
turn
the
left
train.
too. Yeah. Fuck
Oh
this shit.
shit! Oh god! People are doing the bullet trick on me. I don't
Gun
like it.
trick initiated.
Yeah, the gun trick. Yep. Somebody's on the back. This fast guy.
He's almost.
Somebody
dead.
coming in over
Yeah.
there?
He's dead.
I need to heal up.
I couldn't finish him. Oh, people on the front. Oh, I meant to hit the fucking grenade button. Oh, there it is.
Shit. I'm burning myself. Fuck. Dude
Oh,
shot
you
me
got
from.
sniped. Yeah, I saw that snipe action on you. Oh shit. Oh god.
Oh, they're capping the train.
That's like a million miles away. Oh my god. And these bitches too.
Back car.
Oh
back
shit,
car.
they're off on the west side hill.
Ah. I was just trying to heal for like the last 5 minutes, bro. I'm dead.
Oh shit! I gotta plug up my headset.
Yeah, that's a good spot to be at the center car.
Oh, yay! That was a full squad.
Someone will gather up points to win.
Oh man.
We're still ahead. Still ahead.
Yeah, we're still 2 against 1 against 1. We're good. How many kills you guys got?
6.
3. Whoa, nice.
Yeah, I got 8. We're tearing shit up there.
Whoa.
For real, for real.
17 kills.
That's what.
Maybe that
14?
is a-
Yeah, it's 17
Maybe that is an
kills.
8. I don't know. I can't really tell. We'll find out at the end.
Well, where's the train coming in? Oh, I'm not dumbass. Don't matter.
I
Going
was,
this
yeah, I
way?
was going for
Yeah.
the train.
Okay. did they jump off like?
They must
Oh,
have.
that's me, Grim. That's me. That's me. Oh shit! Oh,
Get
my
on,
God.
use them legs.
Oh, I fell off too. What the fuck? Oh, we're close though. Okay.
You-
Oh, they're trying to PMP us probably.
Somebody right there?
Drone doing some gay fucking drone shit.
yeah, drones behind us.
What, somebody's behind?
The drone's behind us, but now it's not.
Is anybody close to it?
There was somebody. There
yeah,
was
I'm
somebody
over
right
to the
there.
west, over to the west.
Not no more. Where the Wraith ass bitch.
Okay, the Wraith is.
Dead.
Dudes to the west on top of that roof. On top of
Yeah, I
that
wish I had like a
Shoot.
2x sight.
Where are they in here? Let me know if they come.
No,
in.
they're on.
Yeah, somebody.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
I
somebody
see where
is.
they're at.
What is hitting me? Oh, there's fire in this car.
Oh, on here. It's back car, back car. He's burning
Almost
up
dead.
dead. He's
There-
burning
it's
to death.
some fast guys on the left side. Oh, what the fuck?
He's almost dead.
That's an alive guy. I thought he was dead. Oh.
Only squad on the train. Need to recharge my
Oh shit, Gerald, run on there with you. You had no time to heal.
Oh.
Okay, look, I got an airstrike, so I was trying to use it there, but I got this dude
Hope
got right in
it's
my
out
face.
in the
I had
open
to
this
fight.
time. Oh, do we have a call?
Yeah.
What are you guys playing as? Crypto?
I'm
as
Wraith,
well?
and he's yeah.
Gibraltar.
Wraith, and Pathfinder and Watson?
Yep.
Okay. Yep.
I'm
I was
playing.
only
I'm
close.
Sonic.
So,
I'm
Gibraltar
Sonic.
and Wraith.
He's Mario.
Wait, can I be Knuckles? Can I be Knuckles? I got the Knuckles card.
Sure can.
You add Knuckles to any Sonic game. Oh shit. Shit. Are they gone?
I don't know.
Whoa, whoa.
don't know.
I almost shot the shit out of Zero. Like, who the fuck? Oh man, I fell off. I do have my ultimate. I'm just gonna
Oh,
run.
there's a jump pad. It just bounced me off.
Oh,
I'm
you
not
fucking
there.
guys.
I'm not there.
You
So
fucking
keep it in
guys.
mind. Just by yourself, Zero.
Someone's shooting at me from behind and in front of me, and behind and in front of me. Okay, I'm coming up to you. Coming to hide and heal.
Alright, I killed some bitch ass fucking man.
Behind you, Grim. Two of them.
I know. I'm doing Birdman.
Okay,
shit.
yeah, just
Trying to be
come-
a fast
Yeah,
guy.
just keep them busy. We got it.
Yeah. There it is.
Suck on them titties.
There it is.
Suck on them titties.
Over that bullshit. You oh.
Titties. Suck on them titties.
Yeah.
Nice.
They can't fuck
Hell
with
yeah,
us.
good job, guys.
Look at that. Look at that damage. Smacking them
Give 'em that
bitches.
We throwing
Give 'em
down
those
hammers.
streamers.
We throwing down hammers on them bitches. So we
That's
got
right.
19 kills total.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
believe
throwing
so.
them
I had
hammers
three.
down.
You guys had.
Minis, yep. So many.
We got many.
I lost 2 fingers in the war. I can only count days.
So we like throwing up fingers trying to count. And you're like, I guess this is many fingers. That's about how many we got. We got minis. Yep.
Bum, bum, bum. Welcome to Mirage's Winter Express.
Welcome to the Dizzy Express.
Time to get frosty on these mofos.
Oh, here, I didn't mean
Frost?
to take
That's
Ray.
fine.
Yeah, Zero. Remember when I said I was gonna go smoke a cigarette?
Yeah.
I actually had to like put it out 3/4 of the way through because I was like getting the spins. I was like getting all fucked up and woozy. I'm like, oh, I gotta put this out.
Grim been sipping that tea.
Yeah, he's getting a little
Yeah,
fucked up.
I'm almost on the 5th double tall keg. So,
Damn.
adding up. Yeah.
What are those, like 5%?
Yeah. So it's a little more. So it's probably like, I don't know. Maybe 5 of them would equal like 12 to 14 regular beers, I guess.
Yeah, was it like 5.5 or something?
It's 5 flat. Well, I think regular
Okay.
beers are what, 4%?
Oh, regular's 5. Light beers are 4.
4
Light
points.
beers are 4. Regulars.
Well, yeah, light beer. Yeah. Well, that's all I owe. If I'm not in the ring, like Miller Lite or some shit.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Yeah.
Oh shit! People are in the front.
Oh shit, somebody's on the roof! What? Are you kidding me? Baloney. I'm calling baloney.
Oh, fuck. People were everywhere.
Ah! I was shooting them and I was getting roof shot. Yep, I got raped. I got good and raped.
Me too. I'm gonna get a beer.
Be out earlier, right? So it was only me and this one other dude. It was a 2-man squad, and the other teammate, he left me after 2 minutes, after like the first train, basically. So it was just me, the rest of the game. So I was doing sneaky stuff. I would just land somewhere close to the train where I didn't know I was at. And then when I felt like I either had to run in to like save the train from being captured or something else, and I would just like jump on in, and like that game I ended up doing like 7 kills and like 1,200 damage or something, all by myself. I was just being sneaky. I won 2 rounds all by myself, which I thought was pretty impressive. I didn't win the whole. I lost the last third.
No, that's great.
That's pretty
But I was
fancy.
like, yeah. That honestly, that's how I get most of my kills. Being, I can't really outshoot people. My aim is not great. I just try to.
Oh, I
outshoot
fell off the bridge.
I'm dead. I got lit the fuck up. All 3 of the other squads are chilling at the front of the train. Just smoke the shit out of me.
Fuck.
God
So terrible.
damn, man. That was bad.
Yeah, I got shit on
Alright.
those 2 matches. For those 2 rounds.
So, A might win again. I mean, I don't know if they do. If B wins, I'm not really worried about anything. But if A wins again and it's down to 1 round, we should probably let the other 2 squads engage. Yeah,
Yeah,
A won
maybe
again.
so.
We should let them engage, let them fuck each other up, and they'll move in and be the cleanup men. Like, when they're all fucked up, we're just going and murder them all.
Yo, I'm changing legends.
That
if
was
you
my
want raid,
strategy.
Joe.
That's how I did a solo.
Nah, I think I'll stick with crypto for this match. I did go with him the first round. Unless you want crypto, who are you switching to?
No, I'm Pathfinder.
Do you want crypto? He's got the Eva, but he's got the flatline.
I don't. I'm gonna try the Hemlock eval.
Alright, we're going the other side. I'm going doors at the bottom. Oh wait, that's where he landed. Oh, go in the glass. Let's go in these doors, let them fuck each other up. And they'll be clean
They're
up.
Shooting from the roof. They're chasing us. They're chasing us.
Inside.
They're right
There's
behind us.
Somebody out. Okay.
They're
Yeah,
chasing
yeah.
us?
Yes.
He was. He stopped.
Post at the door.
Well, they started.
Yeah, they were shooting from the roof and then they hopped down when we were
thought
running by.
They were shooting at us anyway. Yeah.
Alright. So that's the sound
Yo,
of both
yo,
them
who just
fucking
threw
each
the
other
who
up.
just threw the fucking?
I just heard this
Okay.
shit. It was up top. I don't know why
All
it
right.
was so
Yeah, we
loud.
gotta move. They're capping.
So the action, a lot of the action is at the
There's
front.
somebody on the roof.
Oh, I wouldn't run in yet, but I'm here now.
Oh God, fucking damn!
Oh,
front and
fuck,
back, front and back.
Yeah, I would have waited until they fucked each other up. Now we're both dead.
Well, why'd you guys jump on the train?
I thought they were.
I thought it was zero. I was waiting until they fucked each other up. It was zero went on, so I tried to back them up, and then we just got murdered from front and back at the same time. Two, three.
By a landslide, we've got our champion.
Yeah. Killed by 3 people.
That is the most ridiculous mirage I've ever seen. Did,
The knock
no,
I
it was
noticed.
like Winter X Games mirage. It looked like a snowboard outfit with like snow white
Yeah,
hair.
do you guys want to do regular Apex? I'm gonna keep doing train. I don't care either way.
Whatever.
I don't hate train. You can do whatever. Wait, so somebody with fucking Mirage or white?
There
hair?
was, yeah.
Where the fuck's this?
He was a
dude at?
champion on the last squad.
Was he?
Looked like he was wearing like a cool
I mean,
borders outfit.
The winner has a white goatee. Cool borders.
He looked like a snowboarder, man.
Where can I look at this outfit?
I don't know. I don't see it on.
Alright, let me go Legends Mirage. The only with anything white that I know of is the top 4
Yeah, it's none of these.
gold ones.
It must be like a.
He has a white
Oops.
fucking little goatee thing on the battle pass. Or the store thing with Mirage. Is that Nutcracker shit with the white
Yeah,
goatee.
nah. Wasn't a
That's not it?
nutcracker.
Oh, it's called the Wisecracker.
Yeah, nah, wasn't that.
Yeah.
Long winter? More like long winter.
Must be
No,
some
no, no.
special edition shit.
Damn, I only did 28 damage. Like fucking shit. This is what it looked like. Is that what it's up for you guys too? I only did 28 damage.
My damage was pretty
Yeah, I don't know. I
pathetic.
wasn't looking. I
Really?
left immediately.
We got pooped on 3 times. We had 3 consecutive poopings.
Well, if nobody looked at it, it's really said like 1,000 on you.
Yep,
Okay.
I believe it. I believe it. So I found a pretty good truck, but it's like an hour and a half away.
What kind?
Yeah,
Dodge?
it's like the blue one I used to have, except it's an
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
except it's
similar to
black
that?
and an extended cab. But it's like an
Black and
yeah,
extended.
but it's like a I don't yeah.
Is it manual too? Are you only looking
No,
for
I don't really care. Kim, when she looks, she's searching for just manuals.
Let's-
But
No, that's wrong. That's wrong. Let's go to the backside of this building and we'll just land on the side and be creeps.
well,
Just watch.
I don't know if we're gonna watch.
Well, I mean, we're
That's
not.
the plan.
This isn't Winter Express.
Yeah, no, it's regular Apex. Yeah.
Oh, it's not? Oh.
No.
Billy, what are you doing? I'm playing regular Apex Doritos. Why would we do that?
You
Oh, dudes are here with us back in this corner.
Are they? Here's somebody right here.
I'm chasing him. He moved somewhere. He went upstairs.
Maybe back there. I don't know if I'm just like imagining shit. No, there's really somebody here.
God, this guy's got me down, guys.
Alright,
I've hit him a
I'm
couple
going.
times with
Motherfucker's
Eva.
dead.
He's on my box.
I'm
He's
This
Upstairs.
dude's
I'm going, I'm going.
Such a bitch. He's like,
I'm going to
I
zero.
give up because I'm a bitch.
yeah,
you guys?
zero's
Let's go.
down, and I'm going to him.
Okay, and I am also going to him. If that is where I'm going, I think so.
fucking grim. 10 beers
Yeah.
and you're drunk.
Fucking zero. Dying immediately and shit. What the hell is up with that shit? Go on the roof for this shit. I think. Oh my god! I did not mean to shoot my gun. Ready, pop up. Yeah, this is where they are. Oh my god! I'm getting shot from every direction. I'm falling off. I'm almost dead. Yeah, they're definitely up there. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I killed one. He left, which is good because I need. Oh, there's another one. 2 more. Fuck. Yeah.
2 more? Oh, let him try to kill you. Crawl away, crawl away. They don't know I'm here. Yo, how did they signal art stars? How the fuck did you know I was there? I thought it was quiet. I was walking slow. But she pops out and instead of shooting you, throws an art star on my body. I'm like, what the fuck? That is rough.
Yeah.
I did not expect that.
Super duper rough.
Yeah, but
The roughest of the rough. Yeah, I'm gonna get a drink. I will BRBs. BRB chat. BRB.
Okay.
A real review for the Gillette Skin Guard razor from a real guy. All razors are not created equal. After trying Gillette Skin Guard and discovering how much better the quality is, I made the decision to switch. It provides a much cleaner shave without irritation. And I'd scream my recommendations from the rooftop if it would save someone else's face painfully. You have to try Gillette Skin Guard. Stop irritation or your money back.
Yo, Joe went to do something for a sec.
no, okay. Yeah, so I just dropped my car off the shop today. Look at that shit.
Okay.
You know, it may be like just your freak. I didn't think of this, but it may just be one of your oxygen sensors or something too. You know.
Yeah, sometimes computer shit will fuck you up.
Yeah.
I need to find a place. Since I'm on the car, I need to find a place to deliver food. and stuff.
You don't have a car?
After, I mean, no, I dropped the shop today. Yeah, fucking
Joe,
close shit.
Do you think what Grim was describing could be like either an oxygen sensor or a mass airflow sensor or that fucking what do you call that fucking valve? Yeah, EGR valve.
Yeah, could be any number of those things.
I'm thinking
EGR valve, purge valve, or purge solenoid. Yeah, it could be anything.
I bet it's EGR. It was some kind of three-letter, whatever, initialism or whatever. Yeah.
No, Johnny,
Or
it's
is there
until
a
midnight.
Yeah, there is a PCV valve. That delivers. I don't know.
Venice is until midnight.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool,
PCV
man.
is.
Got an Italian
No, it's a
restaurant?
pizza place.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, PCV is
Oh, Bill's until 12, Ross.
positive crankcase ventilation, I believe, something like that.
Oh, I bet that's right. I had mine mess up one time, and it was just like, it wasn't exactly what Grim's describing, but like it would make my shit like the gas was very, very weak and shit like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, any one of the things could do that. It could be a it doesn't let your engine breathe properly.
Oh shit!
Yeah, Chips is
Oh,
in
it's
here
a
with me.
blue? Oh, shit.
This guy chased
I
me
know
in.
it's
I
a
don't know
blue.
what
Alright, I'm
fucking
going to.
I landed on the leaf to see what it was like. I would not have done that if I knew it was blue.
Oh shit, I'm being shot. I'm being shot from the other side too now. I'm down.
Come in, I got Prowler and a few bullets.
I was in a battle over here.
Ping
I'm
any
trying to
enemy
run
if
your
you
way.
see him.
There's one on top of my building here. So
Guy right there shooting at me.
Look, I just got charge rifle. Fuck. Oh my god, I'm trying to like send out decoys like Mirage. Yeah, there's two motherfuckers. Yeah.
yeah, suck it, bitch.
Smoker.
Ah. He had his two. Two of them were still up. Fuck. We'll get it. We'll get it here in a minute. Get one of those sweet, sweet victories.
Yeah. I got my Takis going.
Yeah, I still want to try some of the
Yeah, man, they
walkie-talkies.
are hard to find though.
Delivery? Sure. Two 267-423-0332. 8062 Fairview Street. F-A-I, yeah. You know how to spell it?
Fairview, like a bear is looking at you.
The house, yeah. Front door. The front door is fine. Large buffalo chicken pizza. That's it. Cashier. All right, thank you. Right back. Let me get some money.
Um, Good, I'm the jump master. Know your place, bitch. I know mine, bitch. You a bitch, bitch. Alright. Just in time for train station. No.
Oh yeah, so listen to this, right? So yesterday I ordered 3 cheesesteaks from Bill's Pizza. Oh, I missed that shit. From Bill's Pizza, right? 2 whiz, 1 provolone.
Yeah, people landed here.
Somebody's right here. They're coming over. I don't have a gun. I got a gun.
I'm coming to you. Oh, there's
Somebody
gun
right up here?
R99.
I
Or
got
not.
gun. Oh yeah, I'll switch that. Yeah.
Alright, they're down.
Where they at? I think they're up here.
Oh
Yeah,
shit,
somebody
I was trying to loot their box.
Alright, I'm with you. That might have been me, but I'm with you. No, right here, Grandma. Right here. 2 of them. I
Up
think.
top or on the ground? On the ground?
On the ground.
Oh, why am I so fucking Birdman, man? Forget
There might be
not
another. I don't know.
I need a
Birdman
shirt.
it. I have no heal. Oh, right over here, right over here. This
Alright,
way.
I need a shirt. Oh shit.
Yeah, they're killing it. I'm dead.
Won't let me get in this guy's fucking box. There we go, shirt. Coming to protect you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, right. I ordered pretty much the same fucking order yesterday and today. The only difference was yesterday it was 2 whiz and a provolone. Today it was 2 whiz and American. Yesterday with the
I got my
delivery
drone, I got my
charge
drone.
came to
I got my
18
drone.
something.
Oh.
Oh, I already did it.
I think I hear footsteps over there.
Might be something good this way.
Maybe not. Okay, so you ordered 2 whiz and a provolone, 2 whiz and American. Yesterday it was $19.50. Today it's
Yeah, so it's basically the exact same order, but it was $2 more today, even though I did not pay for delivery. So I think the
'Cause you're
counter
going with
girl
it?
just added
Oh.
money onto the fucking check for herself.
Oh, maybe. Maybe the finest American cheese costs more than that ghetto Italian provolone.
Costs exactly the same price.
The
That's
finest
why.
milk steaks.
Yeah. I'll have your finest milk steak, boiled hard with some Skittles. But yeah,
I
so
can't find
really
any
feel like
freaking
you're about
ammo.
to burn me. Because, I mean, so that means
Yeah.
regularly, when it's 18 with delivery, that means regularly it'd be like $1 less, like 17. It's like 20
Yeah, that's kinda
when I
fun.
picked it. So how the fuck's it gonna cost a few dollars more to pick up than for delivery? Like, I really
Oh, and you
feel
want to
like
leave me a $2
some
tip,
bitch
sir? Okay,
burned me.
click.
So I usually tip fucking counter girls, but I didn't tip this bitch. So I really felt like she was burning me.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. You might ought to, like, you know, talk to the owner or something if it's like a not a chain, you know.
Yeah, I would.
Not a chance. You know that. Shit.
I'd definitely talk to the boss man.
And then I get home and I'm like, well, I'll just add it up myself, right? So I put the menu on the table, on the coffee table in front of the couch. I eat the shit, and then I go out for cereal, and I come back and my dog ate the whole fucking menu, like chewed it to shreds.
Your
So I'm
dog's
like,
in cahoots with them.
Now
Oh,
I
I thought
can't
you were
even
gonna
add
say he
it
ate the
up.
cheesesteak.
like I feel like he's on
Yeah,
my
man.
payroll or something. Like he's being all shady, destroying evidence.
Definitely is.
Alright, so none of these bins, like all the way over to that bitch, are open. Doing look good.
Joe, you want to move toward Grim when you're done
Yeah.
looting that place?
Just double checking to make sure you guys looted it all.
We're all spread out.
And you guys looted it all.
Don't check it. You make sure your looting skills are up to par.
Train just pulled in. Fuck.
Here you go, Joe. I'm shooting you a zip line.
Alright.
Yo, right behind you, Joe.
My man.
I didn't want you to run too far away for it to
Yeah,
be
no
effective.
thank you.
They must not be very good. Knockdown shield here. Level 2.
You can run the train and there's somebody killed on there.
Nah, it would have been the bins out front. That are
Blue knockdown
Yeah,
shield if you want,
yeah.
Joe.
Oh, you hearing some shit? One of those balls?
I don't have a whole lot of ammo.
Damn.
Light and heavy. I got
Yeah,
50
I've got,
heavy
like-
and 60 light.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
That's it? What the fuck you
I got
doing?
45 light and 70
Who
heavy.
wants, Joe is a cool guy.
Alright, I'm going to check this
There you
thing real
go.
quick.
Yeah, you might want to dibs it.
It's your birthday. Bunch of ammo for you.
Gracias.
Joe doesn't want his birthday present?
I dibsed it and say
Oh, that's
gracias.
insulting. And there's a vest
Yeah, I
over there,
dibsed it
too.
and said gracias. Like verbally said gracias.
Oh. I don't see the vest on the screen.
Oh, there's
anymore.
one down
So
here.
That's why I
There's one
figured
down
in
here.
dibs it.
I guess because he dibs it, well, your own pings disappear after a while anyway if you ping something.
Yeah. Oh, this shit's all looted. We're in trouble. We're in trouble now, man. Let me know if you see
Oh, shit.
Prowler, Set Fire, Flatline. Where are you
Those
in
is
Spitfire?
Prowler at.
Look over there, fucking
Here,
reverse.
come get this. Here's
Yeah, I was
the
gonna say
Spitfire.
there's a Prowler at the train station. I didn't see a select fire though.
Shotgun bolt here.
Yo,
Level 2.
I think I might hear somebody, or it's just glitching out
Okay.
again.
Are you just
On my
being
way to
scared
you.
again, Zero?
Just being a scaredy cat. I think it's just
There's a
glitching.
Prowler and an R99 right there.
Select fire.
A Prowler
No,
and a Select
a
Fire?
99
You
and a select fire.
said Select... you said Prowler in the 99, but I saw a Select Fire ping. I'm like, I don't know, man.
No, I got a Spitfire. If that's what you're
Yeah, I
talking
saw
about.
that. But Joe pinged Select Fire in the 99 and said Select
Said
Fire.
Prowler and then
It
99.
said Prowler. in
There's a Select
99.
Fire 4-year Prowler.
So the Select Fire Prowler. Yeah. I figured that out after you said that's not what it was. But I was like, oh shit, is that what it is?
You got your chocolate in my peanut butter.
No.
Now you got your peanut butter and my chocolate.
I could use a stabilizer. Also, 30 seconds until the shit. And I'm dropping med, energy ammo, and a purple energy thing.
If you guys see any kind of sights, I could use them.
Okay, yeah.
Baby bullets. Guess for any kind of
I'm running to the balloon.
Ping.
Yeah. I also need
Oh, what is
stabilizers.
this noise? Yeah. I thought I was hearing people, but I think it's just that like
It's
fucking
glitchy.
glitch shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to go through the tunnel, or you want to go around?
Sure.
Sure,
Through the tunnel?
sure.
Where do you want to go? I don't give no fucks.
I got 2 Bernie sticks if anybody wants that.
I can use one.
I just saw somebody. Oh no, never mind. It's a loot thing.
I'm opening my blinds for pizza.
a loot
man.
thing.
Hold on. I'm good.
You better have your phone ready, Grim, for the pizza man. So
Yeah, when he won't give it to me unless I answer my fucking phone. It's a fucking pussy.
Oh, is that you humping my car window?
I'm not at your house. So
You ought to go
maybe
out there and
it's
start.
not-
You ought to go out there and start like thrusting into his car window. Oh, my pizza, my pizza.
Oh, a Kraber.
Oh, I do hear shit
And
now.
a
I do hear
turbocharger.
shit now. Around this
Shit,
building.
okay.
I'm trying to get out of here. I'm trying to get out.
There's a
Which one,
Kraber. I don't
guys?
know.
Fuck
What
these
you
bitch
should.
asses up. 100% here, somebody?
Nobody
I
chased
don't
me.
wanna waste
Okay.
my beast
Well,
mode.
I feel like it. I feel
There's
like
circle site.
it.
If anybody wants.
I mean, it sounded heavier than it. I wouldn't worry about it, Grim, until we see somebody. I don't guess.
Oh, I hear somebody laser charge rifling.
Oh, I do hear that. Yeah.
Oh,
Run
that's
back
over
towards
there.
Joe, I guess, because like I think it's over here.
I see it.
Oh yeah, I see. Okay. Up in there, yeah.
All right, here. Here's a circle site. Does anybody need this
Far
stuff?
away.
Oh yeah,
You guys
yeah.
split that however you want it.
Doctor from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. every day of the year. X-rays, lab tests, and prescription drugs are on site.
They're up on the train tracks.
You guys want to move toward?
Yeah, they'll
them,
go over there
or
somewhere.
Maybe this building.
I'm looking for a Prowler. Real quick.
Oh, it's right here.
Yeah, I'm not pushing them. I'm just going to this building.
And there's charge rifle up on the train tracks, but they just threw their ultimate right there.
I'm coming. I don't even have a battle stabilizer.
Oh, they're
Yeah,
right above you,
dude.
Zero.
There's
Yeah,
dudes in this
they are.
building, I think.
They're shooting at
I
Grim.
am not Mirage. I have to keep reminding myself of that. Probably gonna come from these steps.
We're going upstairs.
Prowler.
Oh, I don't see him.
Oh, I dropped my
Oh,
cell
cool.
phone.
Oh, there's an airstrike right there. I don't know where these guys went. Oh shit! Oh shit!
Oh no!
Roof of the
Where are
opposite
you?
building. Roof of the north building.
Okay.
Oh, but up top, like.
It's usually where the roof is.
Oh my god! If I fucking scan one more about time. Again, I'm sending out a fucking decoy.
Gotcha, bitch. Yeah, suck it. Suck it. Yeah, bitch.
Bitch ass.
Going
No,
over that
you don't.
Alright.
I killed
I just
one.
smoked 2
Oh,
fools
you
over
killed
here.
the other one?
I'm like,
Hell
going
yeah.
nuts, bro. So if you want to come, like, alright, that was last of the squad.
Hell yeah.
Takes a little bit of going insane in the brain, and you do cool things.
Gold helmet up here.
I hear something.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
it
it's
sounds like a drone.
Oh shit, somebody fired at me from up there where the battle was going on originally. I've hit him for about 100.
Where?
Oh, I need more
Alright,
shields.
I don't know what you're talking about. Up on
there.
them rocks?
Train station. Oh,
Yeah,
I just
well,
got charge rifle from behind. Fuck. There's a gold helmet down in the.
I got
Okay.
that gold down.
So we're between at least two squads. Yeah.
Trying to climb this shit, I don't know if it's possible.
Dude.
Fuck.
You see
There's
them
three.
on the
There's
train
three
track
fucking
right up
squads
there.
around us. That are.
Yeah, I see
Oh
them.
shit.
How
Oh,
about
here,
no-
Zero. There's another. There's a gold helmet here.
Climb up and I can't. There's still another one? How many
There's
boxes?
3
there?
boxes up. Yeah.
Can
Yes.
you hear me?
Up
Oh,
on this roof
wait.
here,
Oh,
Graham.
I got one of the boxes.
Graham, I'm gonna throw you a
There's
zip line.
people in here.
Can you get out of there, Graham? Can you
Oh,
get?
I keep thinking I'm stuck in Mirage. God damn it. Yeah, I'm getting screwed. Alright.
I mean, it's moving in. There's not going to be a place to get them back, and we have the circle. So I think we need to hold this building.
Yeah, just stay in here. Yeah,
How much time's left?
It's
till
moving now.
second moves
it's moving.
in?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm done.
I hear footsteps. Just got post.
Yeah, let's move to somewhere else. I'm out of nades. I should have picked some up. Oh my god, I've heard them all a lot. You guys
Yeah.
nade, it'll fuck
I
up.
broke one shield. No, 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 no! Fuck!
Good try. That is a
Shit. Yeah, spars. Yeah, I'm down to link up and grow together and do all that good, fun stuff.
Yeah, fun stuff.
You know what I mean? I'd rather work with smaller up-and-coming people like myself. You know what I mean? Where it's an even exchange. Ah, man. That sucked. In the foul.
You ready, Zero?
yeah.
change my character. I gotta make me fucking do that. Fucking me up.
Shut up, Opie.
Let's do this. It'll be fun. And if not, well, hell, we all make bad choices. Life goes on.
All I know. I'm gonna color a little bit. Fall in the fall, in the fall, in the fall. OP! What the fucking fuck? Grim Crip is the jump master. Blasting past the jump master with his laughing ass. And dumb sandwich.
The 4 boards and 4 tours, get the boss house forward.
You saying I rap like Eminem? I'll take it.
Bapkins on the lap.
Napkins and napkins with the.
Use the way too many napkins, something.
Ooh, do you both
Yes.
you guys have a gun? I give one of you a devotion. Okay.
Yeah, 4, 5.
I gotta skizz out. I gotta peace out. Skizz out.
Some other car pulled in like fucking. Never mind, it's my neighbor. I think. I don't know. I don't fucking know.
Fall in the fall.
That might have been the pizza man. I was like, never mind. The pizza man will come here and pretend that this isn't the house he's supposed to go to. That can't be.
Yeah.
him.
Oh, I'm being charge rifled at. Or I'm being something rifled at.
Something. Okay.
Alright, I need some real gun action. I'm coming.
Whoa,
to
Joe,
fight him
you're
with my
pretty
Yeah.
far away.
RE45 and my 37 bullets. Oh damn, you're far as fuck. Yeah, I don't.
We're coming towards
Alright, I'm
you.
going to the roof of this building.
We went the complete opposite way we went from where we landed. This has all been looted.
There he is.
I'll be right back.
Yo, I do hear somebody close by us, Joe.
They're in my building. I see them.
I'm in here. Where'd you go? Yeah, I hear him. Shit. Oh, I'm in the. I'm coming.
I'm down, motherfucker.
Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh!
Yes.
He's out to get pizza.
Oh,
there he
yes.
is.
Got the pizza. Oh, yes. Oh, God. Yeah, there he is. Oh, man. Alright, you see where they're at?
Oh, I'm getting executed. Bottom floor, I'm getting executed.
Oh, no! What the fuck? What? Oh, I shut the doors. Look, they closed after I died. I knew I shut them. Oh. Yay. Alright, I'm gonna eat some pizza. Whatever you guys want to play in the meantime, I'm back
Alright.
there.
Hey, we all had like 100 damage.
Yeah,
Champion
man.
style.
That's how champions do it. They all like just barely do good enough.
Grim getting some of that delicious fresh.
Yeah, man.
Yo, you know what's so funny, right?
Yeah.
So I go up to my room when I went to get money,
Hilarious.
and then I got like, yeah, right. So it was like 12 something, right? So I accidentally got $18 instead of 16. I'm like, 18's too much tip. So, cause it's only a couple bucks, right? So like, I take the $2 out, right? And then I thought I put the $2 on the table and put the 16 in my pocket. Turns out I did the opposite. So like when I just got off of you guys, I hear knocking when I took the headphones off. He's like, you gave me $2. I was like, oh, shit. So I only gave him $2. He's probably been banging on my door this whole time since I got the pizza, trying to get the rest of the money.
You like grab the pizza and be like, thanks, bud, and slap $2 in his hand and then close
Thanks,
the door.
here's $2. Yeah, and then closed the door and locked it. And then he played video games in front of him. Yep.
They're probably gonna spit on all your pizzas from now on.
Gotcha. Nah, they won't. I tip
Oh.
usually pretty good. So at least.
That's pretty funny.
I gave him like $5 yesterday. And he delivered, and it's only like a couple bucks. But yeah. Got him. Alright, well, I'll be back. Yeah, I just thought that was funny little shows. Alright.
Somebody right here.
Might be something good this way.
I'm coming. Good job. There's another one, Joe. Oh, shit. Oh, I got raped.
Fuck, I need a shirt or something. No, stop shooting me.
They spotted me. I'm taking
Yeah, I got messed up. I didn't even get a shot off, man.
Got no heels, no vest.
Way to go.
I didn't
way
get
to
a
go.
kill
I
for that
thought I was gonna
lifeline.
come in there and help you out, but I got fucked up.
Oh shit, the team's right here.
enemy taken.
Oh, here's somebody right here.
Killed an enemy.
Here he comes.
I need to loot one of them boxes and get a fucking shirt on. Nice.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Now you guys can have everything else. Oh shit, I don't have any heals either. Fuck, I didn't realize that.
There's a
Nah,
med
he
kit in
took
there,
it.
I think. Maybe there's a shield battery.
He took
Well,
it.
here, I'll give you my other syringe.
I need help.
You ready? Come to me.
Oh, here, he just dropped 2 syringes for me. Oh, I just got shot from.
Shit.
All good.
Oh, I picked their syringe up again. You need to heal
You know where that came from?
far. All the way in the distance. All the way over there somewhere.
Oh, where do you? Oh. Oh, I just got sniped. I don't know where. Oh, I think he. Oh, he's over there. Way over there. I'm crawling back into cover.
You can count on our nationally recognized facility and staff to provide exceptional pediatric care today and tomorrow. Learn
Where'd you
more
go?
at
Oh.
stchristophershospital.org.
Yeah,
I'm
like
down,
wouldn't let me
I'm
get you
down.
up. I thought you were like right under me.
Thank you.
Hungry yet? Satisfy your wing cravings.
I'm running toward the barn.
Okay.
This kid's gonna just take pot shots at us. We gotta
Yeah.
ignore him, I think.
Wings with any 20-ounce Coke using the 7-Eleven app. You get 500 7 Rewards bonus points. So hurry to your local 7-Eleven store today. Offer valid for a limited time.
What? Oh, that's what happened. Okay.
Open supply bin over. Optics here.
I got another syringe.
Oh, okay. Somebody zipping?
Oh shit! Oh shit! Oh shit! How did they get in the top cars, dude?
I don't know. I just broke the guy in the car's shield, but I'm almost dead. I gotta go find a shirt or heals.
Oh my god. I'm having bad luck.
Yeah, it's not going so hot. Come on, shirt. Alright, here's some shields. So.
I'm gonna crawl into the vault tunnel. I don't know if those guys are still up there yet. Oh shit! One on the ground, Joe. Next, right past the barn there.
Okay. Let me at least shield up. I don't have any heals. Syringes.
Eyes are open now.
You.
So the pizza's too hot. I can't eat it yet.
Okay. Do you have any heals in there?
No.
Yeah, okay, so I owe you a blue body shield, a blue knockdown.
Just take whatever you want, man. I'm pretty much worthless this game.
Alright, Al, do you want to... I know he can't hear me, but do you want to try to take these people, buddy? Or do you want to try to go somewhere else?
He said take the people. I heard him. Through the group chat, I could hear him. He's like, take the people, mechanic. could hear him?
No, it's weird.
Oh, I could hear him. He said go balls deep. Or maybe I just heard it. I don't know.
Okay. He wants to zip away. Cool.
I made it up, is what I'm saying. He wants to run away. Okay, yep. He's a bitch. Sorry.
Oh, and there's charge rifle on us.
Sorry, you got bitch ass teammate.
Why are you going like you're still in their line of fire? I'm gonna see if there's heals here.
Fuck is this shit?
Purple helmet. Oh, and I will take this.
New kill leader. Watch for them. Punching a tunnel.
Ooh, nice job.
Now I can catch up with teammate. Okay, okay. There we go. There's an RE45 and I got... Yeah, okay. There's ammo over here. Plus there's...
Gotta hop up here. Select fire.
I'll be right over there. I was looking in this trailer next to
Need
me.
shotgun ammo. I also am using a shotgun.
I hear. You don't care. You don't care about when I hear shit.
That's true.
Yo, you're already playing again, Grim?
Yeah, the pizza was too hot.
When you already playing it. I started a while ago. Oh, you didn't know I was doing shit.
I thought you were eating pizza.
Oh, yeah, would have been. If somebody made the pizza too fucking hot, like assholes, bro.
That's wicked hot pizza, like to survive the delivery and still be burning hot.
Yeah, motherfuckers. Like,
Must have
it's almost like
put that shit in a Yeti.
trying to get me on purpose.
Yeah. Fucking conspiracy.
I'm not sure. I think there's a sniper in the area.
Play that.
Oh shit, I just got stopped.
Hit him for 10 with the Peacekeeper.
Oh, shit.
32. If I actually had a sight, I might actually.
Oh shit. Fuck.
Yeah.
You want to take this zip to where you went? Bitch ass sniper.
Oh, here, there's a vest.
Ah,
Okay, cool.
thank you.
Oh, here I got some syringes.
Oh, thank you.
Hemlock here. Optics here. Mid-range.
Oh shit. There was a longbow on the roof.
Yeah, and there's a heavy mag here.
I may just put it on this hemlock.
Level 1.
Oh shit, thanks, dude.
Heavy ammo here. Countdown. Heads up. Not all of us are in the ring.
If I could find like a 2X for this shotgun, I'd be in business.
Ooh, I'm popping them with that flat line.
Nice. Oh, that's not what I wanted to do. I was trying to reload.
Ooh, not
Nice,
one
let's
up,
push.
Dale. We need
Push
to
them,
go
push them, push them.
these fools. Push, push, push. Yo, where's your boys at? Where's your boys at, kid?
Two of their squads remain.
Sorry, maybe you shouldn't have fought with us.
Oh, I thought I was picking up that
Maybe.
med kit.
Right.
I guess not.
I'll be right back.
All right. Yeah, what happened? Like, I think it's like not letting me.
What's up?
I guess like I'm trying to pick stuff up at the same time other people are trying to pick stuff up, and it like wasn't. Like it happened to like a med kit, something else, but I'm okay. I got some stuff going on here. I just put a U sight in here.
Optics here. Close range.
I guess I'd use it. You need some sail? I mean, oh
No,
shit.
I'm okay.
Oh shit. He's getting
Oh, here.
stopped out from
Buddy, take
across
that.
from the
Okay.
east.
Oh, somebody's here.
Coming.
Fast on the roof.
Oh yeah, get caught, kid.
Taking damage.
I need to heal up.
Patching myself up.
Oh shit, on the stairs, on the stairs.
Okay, I'm almost healed. Nice. Okay. Oh, they're sniping through the window.
Oh, it's in the street. Oh fuck. Yeah, I'm coming up. I'm coming up. No, move back, move back. They'll stop you. They'll stop you. Okay. They're stopping through that window that looks at the stairs. Ooh.
Oh, they're on the stairs. They're on the stairs.
Okay.
Probably gonna be coming up
All right.
some other way. I don't know.
I'm trying to heal. think they're zipping onto the roof.
In the elevator shaft. Right here. Why is our teammate throwing punches?
I hit him some. Shit. I'm dropping down. There's
Oh my god.
three of 'em. Oh, damn. That's our teammate alive. Okay,
There's
we're
two
both
up there. Mother.
Yeah, we got. They were going like they're coming at us from all angles.
Yeah, that was very stressful. And I watched our teammate throw a fucking punch. Like, come on, bro.
Yeah. No punching. Don't bring your fist to a fire.
Yeah, definitely don't. You can't fight fire with your fists.
You in a game still, Grim?
Grimbo, Grimbo.
Pizza cool. Yo, Grim, you muted while you making the pizza chewing sounds? Hey, let me go throw my work clothes in the dryer real quick.
That sounds good.
I've only got a couple more left in me. I gotta get it. I've been up since pretty early, and I gotta.
Yeah.
I don't know if they'll call me into work tomorrow, but I assume they will because, like, they told all these drivers they wouldn't have to work Saturday, and then they told, like, the lowest guys on the totem pole, like, maybe a dozen out of 40 or something, that they did have to. So they might call me in or something to help.
Okay.
I'll be right back.
I'm 33 years old and I like can't color in the lines. Like what? You gonna have to go down the words to this song. I'm just gonna make this shit up on my own.
fucking headset.
Over here! Over here!
You found it for me.
I hear, where's my fucking headset?
Is Grim still gone? Does he need like 3 minutes to eat
Yeah,
pizza?
well, I mean, we know how long it takes him to smoke, so.
right.
I accept the challenge.
I've seen it all. Nothing surprises me. Introducing your champion.
They say Dash catches up to everyone. He can certainly try.
Let's do an old city drop.
Let's do it.
Hold your breath if you have to breathe.
The good old satay. Got a longbow if you're interested, you can have it.
Attention. First blood.
When you get other guns that you like better, I'll take it. I don't want you to be
Alright, dropping it
defenseless.
up here.
I hear somebody. Okay.
Gotta hop up here. Joke.
It's on the side of the elevator.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, I have the heavy ammo if you probably need that as well, right?
I got
Okay.
100.
Oh shit!
Dude. Oh, get the elevator. Reload.
She just like dropped down the elevator. I thought it was our teammate. Oh, there's right there.
There's another one right outside. Got him.
Get,
Oh, somebody just
yeah,
made it. Oh, front door.
another squad.
He's hurt. Oh, he got me. He's hurt pretty bad. He's the last one alive.
Oh no, it's risky.
Oh, she's getting me up. Okay. Risky
I need a
business.
Why is she not dropping her fucking?
There's purple box over there.
Okay, shirt there. There's more heavy ammo on there.
Heavy ammo here.
I hear this.
Oh, right there, on top of the wall.
Contact.
Come get some, bad boy. I'm tired of this guy's shit.
They laid traps.
Yeah, slide into that.
Yeah.
notch. Snap into a Slim Jim. There's a med kit in
I
there.
tried to pick it up. I don't know if I did. No, I didn't. Motherfucker. Like she's a fucking healing bitch. She hasn't healed once. She dropped it now, but like
She's a speed
yeah,
snatcher.
and then she's the one that needs the fucking med kit.
Snatching.
She can heal anytime she wants.
Yeah, that's yeah.
Alright, here's another vest.
Body shield here. Level 1.
Oh, thank you. Dude, I might have heard more enemies, like to the east. But
I
don't
see
know.
someone running
Well, there's some gunshots.
over there. Saw them on that building.
I'm trying to. Okay, I'm with you.
Gotta hop up here. Turbocharger.
Were there people in this building a minute ago?
No, I think it was.
Okay.
Oh, somebody's. Oh, it's teammate. Okay.
That's him. That's our teammate. Oh, but I might hear somebody else. Yeah, I hear some other shit,
Okay.
dude. There's somebody around us somewhere. Yeah, go for
Okay.
it.
Okay. If you don't want it. I see a blue helmet in a building, or I did see a blue helmet. So we should. I think it's that building. I'm gonna go check it out. They were over in this area, those people.
I might have been hearing that audio glitch. I'm with you.
Oh. Oh, I can only put that 2x on my 301.
Here's a med kit.
Oh,
Optics here. Mid-range. Optics here.
there's a 2x there.
Oh, I hear people
Okay.
outside, Joe. I think. Maybe that's just Howard, dude. What the fuck?
There's two syringes.
Oh, okay, thank you. It's no big deal if he gets them.
It absolutely is. Fuck this dude. Do you have medkits or anything?
I got four.
Oh, here,
from
take
him.
this. Take it.
No,
I have
take
4 of
Go
them.
for
Take
it.
it. Take it. Take it. Take it.
Oh,
Take it,
okay.
take it, take it.
You don't have any shields,
I have 6 small ones. I can drop you some though.
dude. If you just drop 1 or 2, it'd be cool. Thank you. Dude, this audio
Yeah.
glitch is messing with me. Is it? Have you heard it too?
I've heard it before, not today, or not this game.
Yeah. I thought you said yesterday or something that you had heard it. Oh, dude is here. Oh, he's almost dead. I got him. There's
All
another
right,
one on the street.
going up this.
There's probably.
Oh, I'm being shot from behind.
Oh, it's another squad. It's another squad. Oh, damn. These 2 squads might get into it with each other. One of them just got their buddy up.
Yeah, fast guy just ran in and ran past me.
I'm just gonna. They're probably gonna see me, so I'm just gonna let them kill me if they do. I'm hiding though. There's a dude right here.
Even though I had the 99, still just.
Yeah, he was moving fast. Come on, Grim. Did he say anything?
No.
Did he say he was going?
I don't remember him. He just all of a sudden was gone.
He's still in the party.
Yeah, I went to work at 6 a.m., so I'm kind of tired too. I don't know how many more games I got in me.
Damn, yeah. Did you take
A little
nap?
bit, but not enough of one. Like, I come home, even if when it's not like a long day or an early start, I come home and I eat something and I fall asleep, like, every single time for a little bit. So.
Yeah, dude, it's super easy. If I eat something and come home and sit down, I can easily go to sleep.
Yep. So, like, it wasn't, like, really long enough to, like, feel good, but it was long enough to, like, kind of mess my day up. Because I had a couple cars I was thinking about going to look at.
Yeah.
And because I was done at, like, 2 o'clock. So I was thinking about going to look at a couple cars. I stopped at the bank. I had less money in the bank than I thought, which was kind of like a kick to the nads. But once my check clears and everything's said and done, I'll have like about $1,000, a little bit more, and then Kim's got some money, so we're gonna get something or whatever she puts up. Just gonna have to pay her back with my checks.
So you're still looking
Yeah.
at cars, right? Okay.
Let's land here.
Did you find one that? I mean, have you found any that are like in that, like in about $1,000?
I found some cars. Nothing that's really too spectacular. I did see a 2001 maybe Ford Expedition. Had a lot of miles. Had like 210,000 miles or something. But it was like $1,100.
Oh yeah, wow.
Which.
Yeah. I mean, if it's still
Right.
running, I mean,
My dad had a Expedition, and I really liked it. So it's kind of like a nostalgia thing. I'm thinking about it for.
Yeah.
Next ring's far.
It's got a regular transmission, right?
Yeah.
Like not one of those continuous
Yeah.
CVTs. Yeah, I guess you shouldn't have come over to this train car.
Grim just left the
Rouge.
party, I guess.
Wonder what's up with that.
Smart moves. Champions out.
There's some zipping. You need a weapon? What?
He might be. He's had so many twisted teas. He might have drank the beer and just like fucking
Yeah.
passed out.
Wouldn't be surprised. He was kind of intoxicated there.
Hemlock here.
Yeah, he'd had like 5 fucking 24s.
Body shield here. Level 1.
Yeah, 10 regular strength beers will fuck you up pretty good.
Extended heavy mag here. Gotta hop up here. Hammer point.
Oh, blue vest on me.
Noise. Oh, thanks. Boom, boom. Oh, people right above us, Joe. I hear him on
okay.
top of one of these cars. Man,
To me,
I'm
I
pretty
think
sure it was enemies
it's
because
that
I don't
glitch,
think I'm
yeah.
hearing the glitch too, but yeah, I guess it was because they would have attacked or something.
It was blue.
Far range, 45 left. Body shield here. Level 2.
Oh, it had a bunch of syringes. I've never seen that. 6 syringes? Yeah.
Oh, really? Huh. Wow. I'm gonna look in the big building.
What is our teammate doing? I just pinged a blue vest for him. Oh, and there's a vault key.
Yeah, I don't know. I was wondering that myself.
Key.
Oh, noise.
Let's go get that.
Picked up a vault key.
All right.
Before the Sandman comes and dances with our dreams, or whatever that is the Sandman does.
Around the corner at Patient First. Walk in to see a doctor from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Is that a
No,
lyric?
I just...
X-rays, lab tests, and prescription drugs are on site, and most major insurance plans are accepted. For routine illnesses
Just
and
some
injuries, Patient
slam poetry.
Oh, he got the gold bag. Get the other gold thing. Get it, get it, get it, get it.
Oh yeah, got it. Good.
Oh, getting text messages from Grim. You need health? I can drop you.
Good.
Coming in. Syringe.
It's probably I'm super drunk and the pizza made me tired and I'm just gonna say. Yep. Too fucked up.
Okay.
The letter C, the letter U. Next. TIMR. See you next timer. Yo, he was just saying he needs health. I just
That's kind of cooler than saying
yeah,
see you
right?
next time. Yeah, this guy's a dumbass or something. He must have thought I was going to get him. I didn't even like go get him. Here, dum dum. Here's your help.
Come on, dum dum. Pick it up. Yeah, I can give it
Yours
to you.
back
Here.
up. Okay.
Yep.
Oh, thank you. If you see any heavy, I could use it. Got one clip and a wingman and a
Oh,
Kill leader.
hemlock and a
yeah,
11
I will
rounds.
drop. I can drop some for you.
I can rely on the wingman and the single fire
Yep.
totally fine. Thank you.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, he
thanks,
just
dude. That's not.
no,
hard
he
to
just
do,
dropped
is
32 bullets. I'll pick that back up. Oh, I could definitely use that.
it? Is he about
don't
to
know.
leave the game?
Extended heavy mag here. Level 2.
Oh, we gotta go.
Watch for them. Let's explore
Okay.
this way.
Oh, he did that because he.
Yeah, no lie.
I can drop some.
Here, I'm throwing a zip.
Somebody's grenading at us.
Oh, I didn't know we were so freaking. Yep. Let the storm take them. But it's just the first storm, so. Alright. I see a dude zipping up the zip line toward the balloon.
Okay.
I think they're battling each other or something. Yeah, maybe we should just move. Yeah. You were already.
Yeah, I hear
ahead
the
of me.
bullets. I don't see them. Somebody's here.
Oh shit, they're in here. Yeah. Oh, I just got
Oh.
energy rifled at it. They didn't hit me.
Yeah, people are in this building, I think.
I'm with you. Like on the roof, I guess.
Extended heavy mag here. Level 1.
I'm with you.
I just hear somebody healing up too.
Yo, yeah, I just got charge rifled at. Yeah, we're sitting ducks. We're
Alright, yeah,
sitting
let's
ducks.
move. Somebody's right here.
Okay.
Contact with hostile.
Mirage, he just did a special, so he's gonna be running all
Okay.
changing position away from him.
Yeah, I broke his shield. He's running around the south side there. So he threw a grenade back at me.
Oh, right there. Yep. He's right here now.
Again, I think.
He just went in the building.
I'm with you.
Nice. Some people are coming, I think.
I'm just
Alright, there's.
hiding.
Oh, I need a small shield cell. Oh, here. Do you need shield? Oh shit, the storm's moving. Here, grab.
I'm.
Grab.
Oh, okay.
Grab those.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go.
Oh, okay, okay. Hey, let's go out this back door. I'll throw us
Okay.
a zip. Oh wait, does this fool have more ammo? Yeah.
No, no. You're
you
good.
need some of that? Do you need some heavy? Okay. Alright.
Alright.
Here, I'm throwing us a zip. Charge rifle is shooting at us. Let's just keep
Charge
moving.
rifle man. Oh, we gotta do this little serpentine shit.
Oh yeah.
Go up to the Cowboys.
Those guys might be running right up in our face here from where they were, judging
Yeah.
from where they were at. I don't know. Oh shit, we got a fucking
Yeah, I'm
run.
ballooning.
Oh, I should have got on that shit. Okay, I'm gonna get on it. I might dive it. Maybe not.
Oh, I landed up here.
No, I think
I'm
I'll
a
make it.
fucking silo shit.
Oh, is
Yeah.
that safety? Okay.
I see someone running now.
Alright. Oh, okay.
Purple shield hit him twice.
Opening fire.
I hit
Broke
him
a shield.
Twice.
Oh, he's got a buddy right there. Another purple shield.
Oh, let's
Yeah.
drop down. Let's drop down.
Oh, there's big shield cells in here.
You gave me plenty of shields. I'm just taking cover right below you.
Yeah.
Oh, in
Yeah,
there.
come
Okay,
grab
right,
that.
right. Yeah. Let him get him.
Oh, yeah.
'cause-
Somebody just landed on us.
Oh, somebody's landing. Somebody's landing.
Come on, buddy. Come grab this shit and heal up, bro.
Yeah.
Alright.
There you go.
Alright. If they push in behind him, they were shooting through this door at him when he entered.
Spine here.
So,
Okay. I'm looking at it from behind you to your right. So I'm looking at
Okay.
the left side of it.
1 minute. Ring's pretty close.
And when it starts moving,
oh my god.
oh, there's
There goes
there's
his
already a zip line
fucking
behind us out here.
shields. Yeah.
You want to just move? You want to just move toward the ring?
He just like stood there and like took a. Oh, somebody's coming up.
Oh, somebody's coming up it. Yeah, die, bitch. Now let's go. Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, there's some heavy in there. Alright, I'm taking the zip.
Well done, Teamos.
Hell,
I don't have any kills yet, but
team
I feel like I probably
shit.
have good damage.
Hey, you've been... Oh, another dude down here.
And a charge rifle guy.
He's almost dead, dude. But there's another damn charge rifle. Damn it, no!
Oh, and they're shooting at
gosh.
that person too.
I'm almost dead. I've got a shield battery. No help.
They just,
Somebody
yeah,
else
the
is shooting
person,
at him?
the charge rifle group was shooting at them as well.
Oh, yeah.
Charging my shields.
Do you got heals?
Shit. No.
Here.
Only shields. Thank
Pick that
you.
up before our dumb teammate grabs it.
Oh shit. Shit. I'll leave him. Oh shit.
Alright.
I'm medkitting. How are there still 4 other squads?
There's still a syringe at your feet. Oh, somebody just threw a grenade behind us.
Alright. Okay.
They're on top of like that Pride Rock up there.
Dude, what are they? Oh, okay. Yeah, I just hit him for 62. He backed up a sec. Ooh, busted a shield of a guy below him to the left over there.
Our teammate's in the cave. We should push to him. Here, okay.
Okay,
I was gonna
okay.
do.
Here, I'll throw
Okay.
us a zip. I'll throw us a zip.
Cool.
Yeah, sorry, bitch. You're not that good.
There's a gold box right there. If you want to check it. They're right there.
They're probably gonna
They're
run.
at it.
Okay.
Oh, I just put so many bullets into your back. Fuck.
That fucker's down. That guy's down.
Gold knockdown shield in there. He's getting himself up.
Yeah, I got one. Oh, he's getting himself up. Yeah, sorry, bitch. We should move on through instead of fighting them, because we got to go through this serpentine shit in here.
I'm coming. I'm coming.
Oh shit! I need fucking heavy ammo. Maybe this dude's got heavy ammo. Oh my god! Oh my god!
Here,
Back up to
there's
cover,
also
back up
a
to
box
cover.
over here.
Okay.
It's got 80 heavy ammo. All right.
I'm gonna move.
I'll grab all the heavy I can carry.
I'm that.
All right.
13 seconds. I've got it.
Okay.
I've got enough. I think.
All right, I'm coming.
I've got a lot. They're fighting up here. Still 4 other squads, dude.
Yeah.
After all that shit.
Yeah, man.
Hey, we'll have the high ground over these fools, or be up here level with them anyway.
Yeah. Still 0 kills out of this whole shenanigans.
How are there still 4 other squads? People are dying left and right. Everybody's losing people.
Close range.
I don't know which way we gotta go here. Yeah, I guess we'll just go this dude's way for a minute. There, finally another squad behind.
Hold on.
Where they at, kid? Oh, some in that building? Yeah, I'm rushing
Okay.
here. Zip line to the roof.
I just saw someone go onto the building over here.
Listen, let's move here.
Okay.
Eyes on here.
Yeah, somebody over right in there.
Oh, somebody just called a special one. I'm getting out of here.
Alright.
Only
Yeah,
2 of the squads. Oh, right here.
I'm with you.
Not today, son. Oh, you got a gold knockdown?
Coming. Haha.
You got a gold knockdown? Somebody should. Oh, gold body shield here.
Body shield here. Level 4.
Pick that shit up.
Knockdown shield here.
Somebody shooting at us.
Oh, right here. There's a bunch of heals in here.
He's got a gold
Okay.
on us. He's dead. He's dead.
One more squad.
Hey, baby. Oh yeah, somebody
Might
shoot
wanna
me.
get inside, I don't know.
No.
Maybe you're in the.
What's up, babe?
Yeah,
Okay.
Phoenix or something.
Yeah, I was swapping out all my small heals for my big heals because I have a gold shield, so it's quick.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Shield, syringe here. Good. We're inside. Body shield here. Level 3. Heavy ammo. Optics here. Close range. Med kit here. Shield cell here.
They're going to rush us because they have to, or they'll die in the storm.
Okay.
Yep, right there.
Caustic,
He's climbing
you should
up.
set your
He's climbing up.
traps. Come on, Sandman, set some traps. There we go.
No grenades. No grenades. Yeah, there we go.
Ready? Med kit here.
Oh, where's the next circle at?
They don't tell you at this point. Yeah.
Oh, does it not show it yet?
Oh, we just got pulsed from other side of where his trap is, I think.
Pretty good this way.
We all have gold knockdown shields.
I'm wondering if this is just
I
one
lost
kid.
a match. Yep, Birdman doing a special. I lost a match because this happened, and we all were outside the ring, and I downed the guy, and the enemy had a gold knockdown shield, so he stayed alive the longest because he had extra chances to do it.
Let him come. I got a Bernie stick.
He's on the roof. He's looking at us.
All right, I'm on a peek. I'm on a peek.
Nice.
Yeah, bitch. Want to peek with my bullets to your brain?
Do 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 do.
That's how we do it. Did Grim text you again? I heard a little click a few minutes ago.
No, he did not.
Oh, look at that sweetness. We were
Nice.
kicking
Yeah, I got one kill.
ass. That was a fun
Yeah.
game, man.
It's always more fun when you do.
That's a good one to end it on, I
When you
think.
do well, it's always more fun.
Oh, yeah. Did you like that, viewers?
Yeah. Does that make it tingle in your no-no area? Makes me tingle in my no-no area.
I'll almost certainly be on tomorrow. Well, I know you don't get on Saturday much, but if you do, I'll probably be on.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm working tomorrow. I'm working at night. I'm working like 5 to 11, so we shall see.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. No obligation. Just if you get on, I'll
Okay.
probably be on.
Yeah, I'll let you know. I'll hit you up on Xbox
Alright.
or whatever if I'm gonna be doing.
Good.
Alright.
Alright.
Yeah, GG. Thank you for the games.
See you, man. Good
Peace out, Cub Scout.
Yeah, you too. Peace out.
Yeah, I'm kind of tired also. Just a bunch of banners for everybody. Legend of the West. Loadout, shotgun, Mastiff. The Yellow Jacket. That's a dumb one. Yeah, it's 12:30. I've been up since 6. So, actually, you know what? I also just don't like playing this by myself. There was something I just downloaded that I was interested in playing. Rage 2. I also need a shower and stuff. I don't know, man. I just don't know. Ba-do-ba-ba-do-ba. Do this, John. Make this John the John. Oh, this looks crazy. Just get a taste of it and then... Continue. See what this is all about. Played the first one a little bit. It was like 5 discs or some shit.
We had such plans for this world. Our Earth, so mercifully cleansed by the meteor they named Apophis. We had such plans, all thwarted by one man, Nicholas Rain. With the push of a button, our future was ended. The arcs emerged. The ecopods came tumbling down, all premature, pouring life back into the barren lands, starting a cycle of life anew, as we had planned to do with our own species. Our plans were thwarted by the naive and arrogant masses. The cleansing of our weakened species was hindered. Our aid selfishly refused. They chose their own pitiful existence over the future of the breed. Such hubris. They thought us defeated. We let them believe us defeated. But we moved underground. We watched their petty squabbles, their meaningless turf wars, their childish attempts at order from chaos, and we grew strong. Our science, our expertise, all aligned, all with one sole purpose. The surgical culling of the weak. Man reborn! We tear down the defenses. We take their compounds. We take the arcs. We raise their settlements and townships to the ground. Tonight marks the beginning of the cleansing. Tonight marks the rebirth of the Authority.
Rebirth of the Authority. You respect my authority? Hold on, just almost finished this line.
Think it's a drill? Doesn't sound like a drill.
Sounds like the real thing.
Alright, we're moving out. We're moving out. Relax.
Auto pistol and wing sticks. That's what we have to work with here.
I'm thinking grenades, maybe? Rifles? It's go time, right?
Yeah, grab your gear.
What is it?
I'll secure the door.
Oh, come on, Lily, that was my kill.
You gotta move a little faster, Walker.
Lily, the closest thing I ever had to family. We grew up here in Vineland, raised by her drill sergeant of a mother. Me? I'm an orphan. I don't have a mother.
But there's plenty more where that came from. I'm telling you, this is the big one.
All right. Well, let's go fucking get some.
Let's go get some.
Let's do this.
Anything else to loot in here? No.
Better you than me.
Someone just said like use. Alright, where do I go? What's... Use what? Oh, a zip line? Oh, that zip line. Found it!
Close call.
Not at all.
Gonna be hard to keep score.
I was never much for counting.
Walker, we need you in the courtyard. Now!
We're on our way. Got Lily too.
Jersey's been deployed to warn the other settlements. They gotta know.
I guess this is big then.
Just snapped it on the comm box. This is the biggest attack they've ever seen. I'm serious.
Then let's go. We're gonna go earn us a glory ribbon.
Let's get that glory ribbon. Fertile cell, feltrite cells. Spirit feltrite cells. Let's keep in mind if I'm
Mom is expecting us at the courtyard. That's where the fighting is thickest.
I don't know, it's like weird. It's not like super responsive. What?
Big one.
Giant laser cyclops. All I got is a pistol.
Not just any ranger. That's Jersey.
Holy shit! It took his whole head off.
Gross.
So much for Ranger Jersey.
He's not gonna defib out of that. It's all up to me now.
Shit, Mom's gonna skin you alive messing with Ranger gear.
But it's still got a lot of Jersey in it.
Yeah, but it's our only shot.
Oh, Yeah! This is even better than I thought!
And is gone. Now I'm ready to rock and roll.
Lily, I need you in the garage. Walker, get your ass to the courtyard.
I go alone. On my way.
Hey, Walker, Sergeant Mom needs you at the courtyard. Get going.
The edge that can be used in combination with your other weapons. Tap right bumper to throw it. They're going to throw a grenade to hold the cook down the switch gadget.
Getting jealous, Lily?
Who's mom?
Damn right I
Are we
am.
brother and
I
sister?
would have been the youngest ranger to ever get sworn in, if not for this bullshit nanotrite crap.
Full level focus on highlight enemies on disinfecting important. Ah, buddy. Climbing the ladder. I'm up. Yeah, man. Yeah, buddy, take that.
Walker, what's keeping you? Get over here.
Hold on, Walker's inbound.
Walker's on his way, man. Ah, fancy.
You remember what they told us at the academy about the ranger armors? You can overdrive when it's charged. Cut your enemies to pieces.
How do you overdrive? Kill enemies in succession to charge overdrive, which increases the damage you deal when fully charged. You can activate overdrive by pressing both those buttons together. These overdrive you also gain health. Okay.
Whoa! This is amazing!
Yeah. Okay. Climb this bitch. Go kill this motherfucker. Get the wounded out to the hot zone.
The wall gun is running dry. Raining ammo. Go, go, go! You,
I guess that's Mom.
Dear old Aunt Prowley, decorated war hero, ranger, and role model. Especially for Lily. She took me in when my parents died. The meanest mom this orphan wildcard never asked for. Reporting for duty.
Come here. That's Jersey's armor.
Jersey. They killed him.
You're brave enough to put on his armor. You're brave enough to do his job.
The fuck is that?
Never seen anything so big.
Makes an easy target.
Can't be. He should be dead. General Cross?
Just use the gun to like knock their heads right off their bodies.
I want the first Genis. Kill everything else.
General Cross, the evil leader of the evil authority. Our own boogeyman. A bedtime story for naughty kids like me. I don't know if Prowley has lost it or if it's really true. You know this though. If it is, I'm not gonna stand for it. Son of a...
Stand down. That's a direct order!
Watch out!
You go, Mom. Oh.
Erwina Prowley, is that you? I was set to spare the lives of you original Archists for experimentation. But for you, I'll make an exception for old times, Erwina.
No!
After all, your uselessness is what once spared my life.
I'm a fool, man. You're gonna get it, you bald creep. You creep man bald guy.
Let's see if we can jumpstart this. Clear.
Wait, fuck's sake! I was conscious.
Yeah, you were. But your shiny new armor needed a jolt.
So this is it then. This is all that's left?
Just over 20
Holy
survivors. We're still digging out the ruins.
Just over 20.
I saw Prowley. It was General Cross.
He killed her. He killed my mother.
I don't know how, but we gotta stop him. And I'll personally wring the neck of that goddamn wrinkled bastard.
I never really believed the stories. That the authority would return.
Well, they did. And we gotta do something about it.
Mom knew what to do. The Rangers knew.
Wait a minute. They kept their files, the logs. They kept them in the Presidium.
The Ranger CP? You nuts? Only Rangers can go in there.
Look at me, Lily. I'm the only Ranger left.
Holy shit. You really are.
Sorry. Alright, so mission's over. Alright, yep, that's it. I'm gonna finish this, finish coloring this stuff real quick and then I'm going to bed. But yeah, I want to say thank you to everybody who came out, whether it was Facebook, Mixer, Twitch, or YouTube, whether you were here for a minute, 5, 10, an hour, whatever. I appreciate it. I want to say thank you to Grim, thank you to Zero for the games. We were tearing it up in the winter train one and the whatever. That last game was a lot of fun. It's a shame Grim missed it. But he's having his own fun. I want to say thank you to Spars for the follow. Raw Mixer. Appreciate them. Also appreciate all the engagement I get on socials. It's Mechanic on all socials except Twitter. It's Mechanic G. Also follow Zero Logic Gaming on Instagram and Facebook. I'm gonna get some pictures up as I build this. Finish building this bookcase for Nicole. My sister-in-law, basically. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get a video up. Maybe a small thing, but I'm gonna try to pull 180 on my YouTube channel and do that and see what's going on. But yeah, thank you for coming out. To those who didn't come out,